Alright men, it is Dcroft, and as you guys can see, first major finals of college football 26. We've broken down both of their games earlier. We have Hexseed against Balla. Now, Hexseed is going to start this game out on defense, and what I was really curious about going into this game was how is he going to defend this gun bunch wide. So Hexseed is going to be running a lot of this 3-5 defense, and as you guys can see, very first play of the game, he gets a fumble. Now, this is a huge play in the game. Now, the thing about the way that Hexseed runs his 3-5 odd defense is he shows blitz. So I do want to break down this alignment to start the game. As you guys can see, he shows blitz. Now, what that did right there is, if you guys notice, that linebacker is all the way out here in this area, and he's going to the gap right here. The reason why he wants to do this, greater blitz threat. You always want to have your linebackers close to the line of scrimmage because they are going to be one of the best blitz threats you have. If he was to go ahead and leave the linebacker out all the way here like this, there's just no blitz, right? You're never going to blitz, you're never going to get any type of pressure, and it is a very difficult thing to scheme up pressure when you are trying to blitz from all the way out here. Now, on the flip side of this, though, is that Balla does now have the numbers game. If we look right here, there's only two defenders out here, and there is only two blockers out here, essentially going to allow for any screen to be thrown at any point. Now, Balla, Texas State offense. Hexseed, he's in 3-5 odd, I think, or 3-5 mint, excuse me. It's called 3-5 mint on this game. And I believe he's in just the 3-5 type playbook. It's in a lot of different playbooks. He could be in a different playbook, but that's what I believe he is in. So again, that's kind of the chess match they're going to play right here. And as you guys can go ahead and see, very first play, Balla does fumble. Now, I will say, and I wanted to look at this again, I don't think this is a fumble. If you really play it short, I think he is down right here. And I remember watching this live. It's like, oh, okay, he's just going to challenge. He's going to get the ball back. Balla doesn't challenge this. And it kind of always had me shocked that he didn't challenge this. I feel like first possession of your game, you just have to challenge that. Now, Hexseed is going to be in the Ohio State offense. He's going to be in the Ohio State offense. I'm going to have to go ahead and flip through a little bit right here. They have to set up all their audibles, etc. Boom, 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 and go back. So Ohio State offense. Now, the thing about Hexseed and what's really good about Hexseed is he's going to make you stop the run. He's never going to pass the ball if he doesn't need to pass the ball. Now, the reason why he's in this Ohio State playbook is single back bunch tight end. Now, single back bunch tight end, one of the best runs in the game. So what you're going to have right here is an RPO bubble like this. You're going to have these two guys come up and block like this and this. And then you have the run to the other side. Now, he's using the gadget package, and he's using Georgia. So what you're going to see, this is actually Nate Frazier. I think his name is Nate Frazier. His last name is Frazier, I know that for sure. And then this is going to be Zachariah Branch. Now, the reason why he does this, Zachariah Branch is going to have platinum shifty, and anytime he goes on the stretch, if he is able to get that angle that I am showing right here with this stretch, that shifty ability is so crazy. It's very easy to essentially take this run like 3 different ways like this right here, where you're not limited by having that platinum shifty. You can almost you can't go like this far up. I think that's this is the furthest up you can just cut it up right there. But you guys get the gist of it, right? Very easy to cut at any which direction. Now, Balla 3-5 defensive playbook. Again, he's going to run a lot of this 3 high look. He's not really ever going to run a cover 2 shell. It's going to be just a lot of cover 3. Now, typically cover 3 does a little bit better job against the run, because just think about it numbers wise, that extra safety is going to be in the box instead of defending deep down the field. So going into this game, I thought Balla actually might have a reasonable chance at stopping the run, but very first play of the game, he goes to the RPO bubble right here. Frazier is able to get out. Huge game to start, or a huge play to start the game. And when I played Hexseed was a lot heavier going to bunch strong offset. One of the reasons why Ohio State, very good, is because you still have that bunch strong offset. Hexseed in this game is not, you're not going to see anywhere near as much bunch strong offset, because again, right there, 2 easy plays, easy touchdown. He just doesn't want to get into a position where he has to pass every single play. He wants to be able to run the ball, and he wants to essentially control the game. As you guys can see right here, if I go ahead and just pause right here, boom, like this is where this ability is so good. Now, he's not going to have the cutback lane here, right? That first lane that I showed you guys. because there's obviously a not user defender, I said you defender there. He could potentially bounce this outside like this. It's not going to be the worst thing ever if he does. Probably not going to score on it just because this guy's shedding out to the outside here, and this guy is probably going to get outside here too. But this is going to be really good because you are going to, again, be able to bounce this inside like this, and then he kind of swerves upfield like that. It's just really good run vision by him. If I go ahead and play it out, you guys are going to see he kind of swerves it, cuts it back inside, sets up that block, and he's able to get 7 right there. So Hexseed, perfect start for him. Real quick, boys, if you guys are a CFB26 or a Madden 26 player, if you guys want to have more fun and win more, throw touchdowns like this, and then bag the most annoying of offenses, make sure you guys check out civil.gg, where I drop my tournament winning schemes on. We recently did a survey that said 98.1% of players that sign up win more. Make sure you guys use code Dcroft to save you 30% off at the checkout. Once you sign up, you'll get instant access to the schemes to start winning more. Fumble first play of the game, albeit I don't think it was a fumble. I'd be so curious to see what happens if Balla challenged it, if it would stay a fumble. And he's able to get 7. Now right here, this is what I was kind of curious about, and Hexseed, very first play, does a great job at defending this. So we're going to go ahead and focus on this, because I thought Balla was going to kill him this entire game with this. You're anticipating these two guys to perfectly block here and here, and you're just going to have this easy RPO right here, and then this guy's just going to be able to run, well, not out of bounds, but up the sideline. What Hexseed does right here is he does have a hard flat right here. So he has a hard flat, I believe, on him, and then this guy is dropping. It might be vice versa, like this. Let's actually quickly double check right here which player is on the hard flat. It is, let's double check. It is actually vice versa. So he has that outside corner and a hard flat. And I think the reason why this works is it kind of messes up the targeting of this tight end right here. And you can see Hexseed is actually, I don't want to say it's like a random thing, but typically when you see somebody have a reaction like that, it means they know something. So Hexseed probably labbed that. He probably knows that he's not going to be able to have consistent success calling that ball, and immediately Balla gets out of it, right? You know, Balla, you see that one time, you can't really go back to it. Now right here, he has the little return underneath. One of the best routes in this game is going to be that smash return route underneath. Whether it is a the play having the return or just the hot route return, both very, very good within this game. Now, 3rd and 5 right here, we are going to see a little bit of pressure, and we are able to get Hexseed able to get the incompletion. Now again, this is kind of talking about this show blitz adjustment that Hexseed is doing. So quickly, just so you guys can see on my controller, what he's doing is he's doing right on the D-pad like this, and then R1 or RB like this. That's what he's doing right here. Again, he's getting these linebackers perfectly aligned into the gap, and then what he's going to do a lot of is sending 5. So what he's trying to do is just create an overload on this side of the field right here with these 3 players. So boom, boom, boom. What you guys are going to see, this is the player that comes in free, and he is able to get that really good pressure right there. He's never really going to blitz off of this other side. He doesn't really need to. He doesn't need the threat of it. So you're never really going to see any type of pressure coming from over here, right? All the pressure is always going to be coming from these 3 players over here like this. He's going to even start doing things too where he starts hovering right with his user, trying to just create more chaos. Now right here, Balla, wide open player, he gets an inaccurate. Super unfortunate. Honestly, 2 drives going into this game, Balla really hasn't had much of a chance. So this is one of Balla's staple play rates right here. Let's actually go ahead and break this back down right here in terms of what Balla is looking for. So again, if you guys have watched Balla before, we've had him a couple of times on the channel now. It's going to be out, post, streak, boom. One of his staple plays. Loves this play. He's going to go ahead and block the running back right here. Again, he's doing this to try to make sure he has good time in the pocket, especially on 4th down. Almost have to block him just to make sure you aren't going to get screamed at. And he does a great job right here. Hexseed gets very aggressive, taking away the return route. And then Balla makes the correct read deep down the field, just is not able to get the completion. Now, I had the same experience with Drew Aller. Drew Aller just does miss throws. I really think any of these quarterbacks do miss throws. It is just something that happens. Now right here, Hexseed actually gets stopped right there. First negative play he's had 3 plays. First negative play right there. And good run defense by Balla. You know, this game is by no means over, but there's still the opportunity where Balla could, or Hexseed could easily lose this game. Now Hexy for the first time is going to go to his bunch strong right here. He's going to go to a little bit of a wide trail setup. So that's going to be tight end angle, drag on the outside, corner on the slot receiver, and then a post on the ISO receiver right there. It's how he sets up that play. Very staple play of that offense, very easy play to run. And then he just goes back to the run, and you guys can see just how crazy Zachariah Branch is. I'm kind of curious to see what your guys' opinion on the gadget position is. Amongst the comp scene, it's a pretty negative feature, I would say. I think it just allows you to be able to do a couple two crazy things. It makes the run just insane. Hexseed actually does something very similar on Madden 2, where he had Randy Moss at running back, and he was just speed boost glitching. There's like a whole debate right now within competitive football gaming if speed boosting is or is not good for the game. Obviously speed boosting makes it very fun to play offense, but makes it very tough to play defense, where, I'm kind of at the point where I don't think speed boosting should be a thing. But one of the reasons why Hexseed is so good is he has the speed boost mastered. So obviously when you're really good at something, you're going to advocate it for it to be in the game, right? If you're good at something, obviously you don't want it to be removed. It's just competitive nature. I almost look at it as the same way as like a tush push personally. If you ever have like a tush push play, and if you're the Eagles, why in the world would you want the NFL to ban it? Now, I will say, before I get back fully into this game, they need to call false starts on that. It's actually starting to drive me insane that they just don't call false starts on that. Now, with that being said, right here, Baller just running bunch wide, and he's not throwing the RPO, and basically everything you've seen has just been calling inside zone. And he's done a very good job. Nicholas Singleton, very good running back in this game. And he's actually had a lot of success right now. Now he goes back to his little tight formation right here. He goes to the same play that he threw a pick on. And the thing about Balla in this play, he's never going to make the wrong read on this. Again, same play that we broke down earlier in terms of how he likes to run it. And you guys are going to see it. Hexy does a great job with the switch stick, taking it away. Balla does a great job just taking his underneath and just taking the yards. Now, this is the first time that we are going to see Hexy just blow up his run. Hexseed is going to do a really good job in terms of gap shooting. So what you're going to see is gap shooting is such an important part of these games. And typically the way you want to gap shoot is you're going to see these three defensive linemen right here, like this. And it's kind of the user's job to just find that angle to be able to gap shoot, right? Typically you want to gap shoot in between the center and the guards. Very rarely are you ever going to gap shoot in between the tackle and guard. It's something you can do. It's just not something you see a ton, especially in this game. It's a little bit more of like an older Madden thing people used to do. As you guys can see, Hexseed nodding his head, played really good run defense. I think on defense, we've talked a lot for Balla in terms of being able to stop the run. I think it's the same thing for Hexseed. Balla, again, I'm not going to consider Balla a runner, but he's somebody that if you cannot stop his run, will just run every single play, as he did on this drive. Now, Hexy did a really good job in terms of being able to take away the main play that he called right there. And let's just talk about this adjustment. Now, right here, Hexy started to do a really good job at switch sticking this post. So he's getting very aggressive on switch sticking onto these two players here and here. Just running a pretty standard cover 3 shell right here. Now, I think what Balla was anticipating was a little bit more of aggressive switch stick down onto this player right here, where I don't think he anticipated this to even be a read that he made on this play. If we go ahead and play it out, you can see Hexy gets like a switch stick onto this player for a second, and I think that was enough to just make him hesitate. As you guys can see, he just waits and waits and waits and waits. At this point, this side of the field, by the way, it's just a very standard cover 3 hard flat. So this guy obviously is in his cover 3, and then this guy, he was probably more in here and now has dropped into here into the cover 3 hard flat right here. And he's able just to make a pretty simple pick on this play. Just a late read from Balla right here. As I said, I think he was really anticipating to have a post, especially when you see somebody drift like this. Obviously, pocket is here, right? Like, obviously the pocket is not that big, but pocket's over here. When you see somebody all the way over here outside of the pocket, just typically means that their eyes are all going towards this way, right? This is where all of his vision is. And then when his vision, right, gets back over to this area of the field, it's just a little bit too late on that read. Probably didn't even realize this defender over here. And then he ends up making this read just a little bit too late and does end up throwing a pick right here. He does dive for the pick. I actually don't know why he dove for the pick right there. I think if he catches it in stride, that might be 6. But I think if you're Hexseed, it doesn't even really matter. Now, Hexseed going back to his run right here. And Balla's done a little bit better job at playing run defense as this game has gone on. What you're going to see him do is a lot better job of just taking away the bubble. He starts manning it up, and then you're going to have the his user just shoot the gap really, really well on that side of the field. Now, one thing I don't think if you guys didn't notice right there, Zachariah Branch actually had Heisman level spin cycle too. One of the things about Zachariah Branch, very easy to get Heisman abilities on him. And then right here, again, same play that Hexy has loved throughout most of this tournament, just going to be wide trail. So he's in this bunch strong offset now. And again, it's a very simple play. It's going to be boom, 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 and then boom. Now, what he will do, I will say, this corner route is going to vary. So again, one of those minor differences that comp players are going to end up doing. Sometimes what he might have instead, right, is it's going to be corner and then drag, right? Again, it's the exact same concept. It's just who's running the corner, who's running the drag. It's one of those things to just not say super predictable, because obviously if you always know who's going to run the corner, always going to run the drag, that's when a defensive player can start to really adjust. So right there, he actually had the slot on the corner route, and then he's able to hit that post route over the middle of the field. I think the biggest thing about Hexseed in terms of what he did really well, he never really put the ball in harm's way. He didn't really make any bad reads throughout the entirety of the tournament. I think he just played a very, very good game, very, very flawless. Now, ball, really good gap shoot right there. Hexseed went to a different run. That's his inside zone look that he ran right there. Not sure what he saw that made him want to run that, but he did just go to a pretty standard just inside zone right there. Now, one thing that Hexy would do every once in a while is by having Zachariah Branch at running back, you are able to motion this player out and then create this 5 wide look with him all the way obviously out here now. And the reason why you do this is it becomes a lot easier just to attack vertically. And the one thing that a bunch formation, especially the look that he has, is going to struggle against is going to be to attack this wide side of the field here. When you have this wide side, right, you're going to struggle to attack this side of the field, right? You're just never going to be able to truly attack this side of the field whatsoever if you don't motion out the running back. At most, what you'll be able to do is like a tight end corner, right? So like tight end corner, tight end out, and then like you have the secondary routes where it's like, okay, you could have like a crosser, post, drag, where there's nothing really like quick over to the side of the field. Obviously now with this running back here, you could easily just do out, you could do like hitch, you could do drag, you could do, you can't do a whip route because he's an outside receiver. You could do a bigger curl, you could do like a C route, just so many different things, right? To occupy this space of the field right here. So that's why he's doing it. If you ever wonder why somebody does that, that is why somebody motions out a player. It's just to be able to get that quick look. He actually does a flat right there. Ironically, the one route I probably didn't motion. Flat, obviously very, very good too, to be able to throw out on that side of the field. Now, 3rd and 2 right here, if I have to anticipate right now, this is probably going to be run. I'll give it a buck. I was kind of salty after I lost to Hexseed, and I didn't really watch this game live, so this is kind of my first time really watching the game back in depth. Right here, he goes to the pass play. Actually, very surprised that he goes to a pass play. As they play a wide open, Zachariah Branch able to make that catch too. That's a little bit unfortunate, I will say. You know, Gunnar Sock, you know, this was a read that, man, that's a yellow pass or orange pass too, which means it is inaccurate. Obviously, something that should be completed. I think one of the things that I would like to see is just good quarterbacks able to make the throws that they should make. We obviously saw earlier in this game, Balla missing a very simple, easy throw to start this game. I think if your quarterback has their feet set, they really should be able to hit the majority of throws. I'm not really a big fan of them not being able to hit those throws. So right there, Hexseed actually gets tackled. I think Hexseed is probably really disappointed in this play. This is one where you just would, like, you're one-on-one, and you have like the speed boost perfectly set up, right? You could go boom, you could go boom. This guy is like a non-factor right here. And he ends up actually getting tackled right here, which is a little bit shocking, I will say, especially with somebody that has sick work like Hexseed. And to get tackled right there, you get just getting into this area of getting stuck potentially in the red zone. And you never want to get stuck in the red zone, right? I think one of the biggest things in this area of the field is, you know, even if you get 3, you're up 3 scores, but you still want to just keep that pressure on, especially in the first half. And then right here goes to a little bit quick seam streak and is able to get 7. Now, Balla also not getting ball at half right here. He's really had no success running the ball whatsoever. And he has to get points on this drive. I think we are reaching that territory where no points on this drive probably is going to put him in a position where Hexy, he's seeing Hexy just win the title at this point. Now, Bally's going to run this wide bunch right here. He's going to set up a little bit of protection. He's going to go to that curl to the outside. Again, a lot of what Hexy is doing, you're going to see again here, a lot of pressure off of this side of the field. Hexy essentially is giving up this curl right here. Balla does a really good job. Hexy tries to switch stick it right there, just isn't able to get there. Again, it's very tough to switch stick those curls, and the reason why I say that is if you switch stick and you move your defender down and they're just on a streak, it's obviously going to be an easy wide open touchdown. Now right there, Balla again, second post that he's thrown, probably should have been a catch right there. He gets an inaccurate and he throws an incompletion. And I think this is one of those games, if you're Balla on offense, you really haven't played bad. I don't look at Balla and say, man, this is a game where I want it back, I played so bad, etc. You fumbled the first drive, you threw a wide open player the second drive, and then the last drive was probably the first drive you'd want back, but even then, you've had 3 drives, and 2 of them have just kind of ended because of things out of your control. And it's not even like, I think Balla isn't the type of person that would be making like an excuse or something like that, like, oh, I just got so cheated or something like that. I think you can look at it like as a pretty just like neutral person after the fact, and Balla would tell you like, yeah, like this was kind of an insane game that I played. And he wouldn't be the type of person to be like petty or like annoyed or angry or something like that. It's just the way that the game has just been in this time. So different than like an official making a bad call. Now with that being said, if Balla does get 7 here, he's still in a good-ish spot. I'm not gonna say he's a great spot, but a good-ish spot. He still has a chance to get a stop at a half, make it a one-score game, and then just kind of go from there. Again, another very, very good drive from him right here. Hexy hasn't done a great job at taking away those posts unless he has switch stick them. The only time he's ever really taken them away is by switch stick. Now, Balla rolling out here again, throws the ball away. I was gonna say I would be stunned if you threw something like that. 2nd and 10 right here. The one thing that I will say that I think if I'm Balla, where I'm like, man, I wish I was able to do that a little bit better, it would have just been running the ball. I think that this game could have been slightly different if he was able to have more success running the ball. I think one of the reasons why you use Penn State is for Nicholas Singleton. He's really only had 1 drive where he's been able to consistently run the ball. And obviously it's a little bit tough when you're also down 21 to say, okay, you need to be running the ball a little bit better. So I don't want to be like overly obviously critical of that, but it's one of those things where it's like, man, if he was able to run the ball a little bit better, I think he could be in a lot better spot. Now right here, it's 4th and 2 after throwing a corner out to the sideline right there. He goes back again to his tight open formation right here. He's doing a lot more in terms of blocking, setting up pass protection. He's doing a lot better of a job in terms of just getting more time in the pocket. He's also showing a little bit of clock, which I know might seem a little bit weird, but you do still want to make this last possession. Right here, he has a wide open player over the middle of the field. I would have gone down right there. He does end up getting 7. And I can't really fault somebody for getting 7 in a spot like that, because at the end of the day, even if Hexy gets 7 right here, you're still going to be in a negative spot even if you're down 14. Even if you're down 21, I don't think it makes that big of a difference. And for me personally, you kind of have to like risk the upside of the player potentially messing up and then me being able to get an extra 7. Right here, Hexy throws a good route underneath, but he is already on a 3rd and 5. And Hexy is going to run hurry up right here. He's going to go to his bunch strong. And he's playing this at a little bit faster of a pace than I thought he would. I thought he might just take this into half right here, but he doesn't. Sits in the pocket, waits for his corner route to settle, has a bunch of time, and is able to get out of bounds. So now, Hexy is probably going to be able to get 3 here. I do want to break down this play right here. This is actually a very, very good play from Hexy, and a play that you guys should try to implement into your offense. Let me actually go ahead and get that hot route off. Boom, boom, boom. Perfect. So this is going to be a slot fade play. Slot fade is very, very good in this game. Those are the first times we've seen someone use a slot fade. So this is what the play is going to look like. This is now going to be a slot fade. It's probably not going to run that wide. It's probably a little bit more like that. Let me go ahead and do this. And then you're going to have a corner route on the outside. So boom, corner route. The thing about college football that makes this so good is you have this player that's running the drag, the playmaker ability to have him go straight upfield. This is a very, very good bomb play too. The slot fade streak corner combo, very, very good bomb concept. So if we go ahead and just play this out right here, you guys are going to see he has that corner route. I think he could have potentially thrown the slot fade. I don't blame him for not. Obviously, that's just not something I would ever throw in that spot. But that's one of the reasons why he had it on the field. I think if it's a situation where, you know, that's the final play of half, he's probably throwing the slot fade. I think it's a 50-50 of if it does or it does not get caught. Now, if you're a Hexseed right here, just get 3. I don't think anything else matters but getting 3 right here. You're getting the ball at half, you're up 17. I think it's pretty fair to say at this point in time, he has just dominated the game. He goes back to his wide trail setup right there. And for me, I just don't think that there's any real upside of getting 7 in comparison to 3. I think going up 3 scores is all you really need right there. Hexy goes to a great little curl route right there. And now he's in a field goal range, so drop back passing right here, rolls out with Gunnar Stockton. Kind of funny to me, I will say, after playing this tournament, I kind of stayed away from Georgia because of Gunnar Stockton, but I really haven't seen Gunnar Stockton make any really negative or bad plays. And as you guys can go ahead and see right there, Hexseed is able to run his RPO bubble, able to get 7, and he's able to go up 21. This has just all been Hexseed. But I forgot about this play. This is crazy. I do actually remember. I remember this play very vividly. Ball scores here. I'm going to spoil it. And I'm not really sure what Hexseed was doing right here, but this is a complete game changer of this game. I completely forgot about this play. Now, if we go ahead and look at this, the idea of what Hexseed had wasn't bad. I mean, standard 3 deep is fine. I don't think there's anything wrong with coming out in 3 deep right here. The problem that he has is kind of what he does with his user and how he puts him in no man's land. I really want you guys just to focus on his user the entire way in terms of what his user does. Now, when it comes to a situation like this, I never think you want to be running straight with your back like this in this spot. He kind of just puts himself in a spot now where it becomes very tough to make the play. There's really no other CPU defenders, and Balla is able to score. Now, this changes everything. Actually just had a great drive to the end of half, should be up 21 right now, and should be 2 clock, cruise control the entire second half. The thing that this also does, if you're Balla, you probably know you're kind of dead, right? You know, okay, this game is over. It's 28-7. I probably don't really have a chance at ever coming back into this game. Now, Hexseed does get the ball at half, so it's not really that big of a deal. Should be pretty easy for him to go up through scores. But Balla plays good run defense on first down. Hexseed now goes to his bunch strong right here. Let me see what he calls here. He really calls like 3 plays. He doesn't really call a ton. Oh, he actually calls a slightly different play. Hexseed throws a little bit of a scary read right there. Incompletion, 3rd and 7. And again, this is the first time that Hexseed has ever really played like a major tournament. And there's like a level of pressure that there is in these games. And then right here, he throws the outside fade. Probably could have been a pick right there, right? You know, we talked about him trying to motion out the Zachariah branch in terms of being able to get that different look. If Balla gets a little bit better of a click on, that could potentially just be a pick right there. Now, Hexseed, if you get stopped right here, I would say that the win percentage of Balla went from 0.001% to like 35% in the span of 2 minutes, right? And Hexseed just has to get this. Now, he's going to go to his bunch strong right here. Let's see the play that he calls right here. Does he go to one of his staple plays or does he change it up a little? So right here, okay, so this is what he does. He goes to, actually, I don't know what the outside receiver is on, but so it's going to be drag, post, streak, and then either corner or slot fade. So that is actually going to be a slot fade. He hits the post route and then he is able to complete that route there. Now, in field goal range, and that, I think if you're Hexseed, that's probably the play. You can see he actually takes a huge breath right there, and I don't even blame him. I would be so sick if I somehow didn't pick that up right there. Takes a huge breath. He's able to finally, I think, collect himself. You can even see he's starting to chew a little bit of clock. And I think one of the things that came down to this game is Gunnar Stockton hit his throws. Drew Aller did not hit his throws. I think Gunnar Stockton is still only like an 84 overall. He's not a high overall, I'll tell you that much. But complete game-changing play. Now, Balla has actually done a very good job in terms of taking away the run outside of that first drive. First drive, he didn't do the best of jobs ever, but he's done a lot better job as today has, or as, no, excuse me, today has gone on, as this game has gone on, and forces Hexseed now into a 2nd and 9. Now, again, if you're Hexseed, you're really just trying to end this drive with points. If you somehow get 7, great, but 3 you have to get in a spot like this. I don't think Hexseed wants to kick this long of a field goal. I'd be almost stunned if Hexseed ever wants to kick this long of a field goal. He's probably trying to make it at least like a 40 or in field goal. You kind of see that with his play calling right here. He's not trying to just run to stay in field goal range. Right there, he does a really good job in terms of throwing this flat right here. So I'll actually show you guys what he does right here. This is a very high level thing Hexseed does. So what he's doing right here is he's putting Zachariah Branch on a flat route right here. So just like a standard flat route. And then what he is doing from there is that instead of having the flat route be from the running back spot right here, he's having it be from all the way out here. So this defender, these two right here, are not able to get out to defend this area of the field right here. And it's just allowing for a quick, simple, easy read. I think Balla should have done a little bit better job at moving a defender out there in terms of taking this away. You probably need to hard flat that side of the field. Obviously, when Hexseed sees something like this, single high on that side of the field, he knows first read going to be super easy to hit. And you guys are going to go ahead and see Hexseed is going to start taking, turning on shoe clock. He's going to start taking a lot of clock right here. And I don't think this game gets close at any point again. Let me see if it does. He gets a first down right here. Pretty standard play, just a slant over the middle of the field. 1st and 10 right here. Now, the biggest thing, I think, if you're Hexseed right here, and he's going to do a very good job at it, just keep bleeding this clock, right? Getting 3, going up 3 scores is really all that matters right now. I think he does end up throwing a pass right here. I think he actually, hold on, he takes a timeout. Then he motions out. Yep, he's going to throw his pass. Typically, whenever he did something like this, it was be double slants on the bunch side. It's kind of his favorite concept. He goes to double slants right there. Kind of a scary read right there. I think if I was Hexseed, I would have just ran and kicked 3 right here. This is one of the ones where I just don't know the upside in it. This is nuts to me. I had to make sure I saw what I saw. He throws this so early. I think this is actually very fortunate that this isn't a pick. You can see, I mean, I understand reading with anticipation, and he obviously is anticipating the ball to go like here, but it's like, man, this defender, I would really think that this defender would do a lot better job at taking this away. He's kind of lucky this defender almost just dumbs out right here. As you guys can see, like, watch this defender right here. He does like this 360 spin. Man, that's actually does end up taking 3, and he ends up going up 17 right there, which obviously perfect drive for Hexseed. You are never mad at going up 17. And then you guys can see, right? Balla comes back, Drew Aller throws a red. I think that's kind of the story of the game. I do wonder, and I actually wonder for myself too, because I was very high on Penn State. If I was to just use a team like Georgia, how much different would it be? I mean, if I was able to use a team like Georgia, would I be able to consistently have the success throwing the ball throughout the game? I think that there is a very likely possibility that I may have had more success with a different team. I think Balla is probably saying the same thing as well. I think Balla probably is looking like, man, if I was just able to have a quarterback hit a couple more of my throws this game, we are going to be able to come up on top and victorious. Right there, Hexseed, great user lurk right there, and that is essentially going to seal it. Balla tries to throw this post route over the middle of the field. Hexseed does a really good job at just taking away the middle of the field. Great switch trick right there with his user. Is able to get the pick. Perfect timing user interception. And at this point, it is basically milk and cookies time. There's really not much else to show you guys within this game. And Hexseed is going to end up being the #1 CFB26 ranked player in the world. Played a great game. He played really great throughout the entirety of the weekend. And also, GG's to Balla. Balla obviously was the #3 ranked last year. He finishes 1 rank higher as the #2 player this year. As you guys can see, Hexseed is the #1 ranked player. Boys, I appreciate you guys all a ton. If you guys want Hexseed or Mine's offense, they are both on civil.gg. Code Dcroft saves you 30% off of both of them. But with that being said, boys, I will see you guys all next time.